P-Dub's Arcade Loft is a channel made by adults for adults. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Patrick once again, P-Dubs, and thanks for hanging out upstairs with us. This is another episode on P-Dub's Arcade Loft where we are going to be doing a replay of our Loft Report podcast. That's right, the Loft Report Arcade and Gaming Podcast is available on all your favorite listening platforms, whether it's Google, Apple, Podcasts, Pocket Casts. You'll find it everywhere, Spotify. So you definitely want to just search your favorite podcast listening device, the Loft Report, and please consider following the show on your favorite listening platform. Definitely would appreciate it, especially if you got a long commute and you're looking for an entertaining conversation during your drive. We try to keep all the podcast episodes to maximum 30 minutes at the most. Definitely don't want to go over that. And what we'll also do is what we're doing right here is we're doing our YouTube replays. So every time we finish an episode, when we get a chance, we're going to put it on YouTube, and we'll also add some videos and pictures and things of that nature moving forward. However, on this one, this is our episode number 2 from December 29th. On this episode, my co-host was my wife, Melissa, and we had a wonderful, wonderful conversation fueled by alcohol and arcades. That's right, AA. And also, we got to find out her confessions. What's it like being married to somebody who has an extreme arcade addiction like myself? So fellas, if you're in the car or hanging out at the house, I think your wife or girlfriend will appreciate my lovely wife Melissa's point of view on this whole situation. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I'm just throwing it up there, and I'm just going to have a splash screen, no visuals on this replay, just like we did episode 1. If you want to catch everything live, because this is from December 29th, you definitely want to follow on the mediums. That way you can get the podcasts right away. And obviously on future YouTube videos, you're going to see more visualizations added. And last thing, reason why I got to get this thrown up now is we are recording episode 3 tomorrow. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Loft Report Podcast. I'm your host P-Dubs. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out upstairs with us, and thanks for tuning in to your number 2 source for arcade news. Just a quick heads up, folks, if you want to follow this podcast, we are on Anchor, as well as on several other of your favorite podcast mediums, including Breaker, Radio Public, and the big guns. We're now on Google Podcasts and Spotify. So you definitely want to just search the Loft Report on your favorite podcast listening device or application. And please follow the podcast. You don't want to miss any great episodes we got coming along down the road. Now, on today's special episode, we've titled this episode number 2, Confessions of an Arcadeaholics Wife. That's right, I'm an Arcadeaholic, and I figure who better on our very first podcast where we actually have a guest star in-house, that the guest star would none other be than my lovely wife, Margarita Melissa. Hey, baby, good morning.
Oh, my turn? Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the show.
It's my office.
It's my office. Well, it's our office.
Thank you.
So for those of you who don't know, we do have an office in our home, and the office is kind of split in half. Half of the office is me and all my YouTube and podcast stuff, and the other half of the office has got an identical desk to it that has your sewing and all your crafts. You love doing all that stuff, huh?
I do, when I get to, and it's not covered in your YouTube stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when are you going to make me some arcade curtains for my arcade loft?
As soon as you get your crap off my desk.
As soon as I get my shit off to this. Okay, so we got a lot of questions for Margarita Melissa. We definitely want to find out. And I've written down the questions. She has no idea what I'm about to ask her. We definitely want to get her raw, true, and the true response to what it's like being married to someone who has an extreme arcade and retro gaming addiction. So
I feel like this is going to get me into trouble.
oh, it's all for the listens, baby. It's all for the listens. All right, let's get this fired off. And yes, for the transitions in between segments on this episode, we are going to be using Kirby sound effects because what's your favorite video game?
Kirby is. I love Kirby.
Why do you like Kirby?
Because he's a cute little bastard who likes to eat things.
He's a cute. You're ridiculous. By the way, guys, it is 11:45 Sunday morning, December 29th. And yes, we are drinking.
Absolutely.
The in-laws were here. They were here for a week and they left today. And as much as I love your mother and your stepfather and your brother, it's nice to, like I said, let's move on to the guys. I don't know if you could hear the daggers in her eyes as we started that conversation. Pick your battles, gentlemen. Pick your battles. Okay. So number one question for our guest star is, we know you like Kirby. That means you like video games. You're a video game girl. You're a gamer.
Well, I mean, does it matter that I'm not good at them?
No.
I like to play.
No,
I'm not good at all, but I have fun.
You have fun.
Yes.
So you're the kind of girl, because some girls don't play video games. Some girls are like, oh, that stupid boy stuff. You don't, it's going to violate my womanhood in order to play a video game. You're not one of those.
No.
That's awesome.
I know
awesome.
I am.
And besides Kirby, I know you like Dragon Age. What else do you like?
Are we do new games or old games?
Just
or any games?
Any games. Arcade games, console games. Let's just do a quick rundown of the games you like.
I don't know. I mean, I like a bunch of the old ones because I'm better at them. So anything, microphone, forgot. Anything that's a little bit easier to play because, again, I'm really bad. So I like Super Mario Brothers, and I really like Fix It Felix.
That's the alcohol, folks.
Fix It Felix and Frogger and Crystal Castles, and I'm really having fun with the Star Wars machine. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, the arcade 1-up Star Wars?
Yeah.
You like Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that one.
I hate that game.
I'm awesome at that game.
That game sucks.
I like it a lot until I run into the trees.
And the reason why I think the game sucks is because you're better at it than I am.
But that's because you really suck.
Shut up. All right. Whatever. All right.
Next question.
Yes. So we've been together for 20 some years. We've been married for like 1,000 years.
I don't think that's how math works.
In the last 20 years, we've definitely gone to arcades and bowling alleys dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
We were at one yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely something that we both enjoy.
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts about the recent boom in having the ability now for us to have in-home arcades in our home with companies like Toy Shock, At Games, and Arcade 1-up?
I think it's great. I think they're giving us an opportunity to, play the games that we like, stuff we remember from, childhood, and getting a chance to do it without spending all the quarters. It's affordable. It works for me. I like that. I still say they need a shooter game. I'm sick of pushing buttons. But other than that, I'm happy with it.
You love shooter games. Whenever we go to the arcade, you love...
I want to blow up some zombies and some dinosaurs. And
yes, absolutely. Okay. Appreciate all that. So what do you think? How do you think, to your knowledge, when did my in-home arcade addiction start? And who is to blame, Melissa? Who is to blame for this madness that we're now in 12 months later?
I wouldn't even say 12 months later. I'm going to say I started the madness with your ideas of in-home arcade and modding when I finally came home with that for Christmas, the NES Classic Mini.
Yes.
Because that's what started it. You started talking about messing with that stupid thing after it took me weeks to get my hands on one. And I about had a heart attack.
Yeah. I immediately tried hacking it, guys.
I was going to
doing
kill
the
him.
NES hack.
I was going to kill him.
And she was so worried I was going to break it and we wouldn't be able to find a replacement.
It took, because I got it fairly early when they were releasing them, when you couldn't get your hands on them.
Yeah. So now I would agree that started it. I think that's kind of the snowball that led to the avalanche. But you know what really picked up steam was the day you came home with my very first in-home arcade machine. You brought home the Street Fighter cabinet.
I did, because I'm all kinds of awesome.
Right. And we had walked past that thing several times in Walmart. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And then you just came home with it one day. And was it our anniversary, I think? It was anniversary or birthday. I can't remember.
It had to have been birthday because it was the beginning of the summer.
Yeah. And so you brought that home. And then the last 6-7 months have just been an explosion for P-Dub and P-Dub's Arcade Loft. Okay, so to recap now. So within the last 12 months, you got me the Street Fighter cabinet, and then about a month or two later, I got the Mortal Kombat cabinet.
Right. And
I was starting to become an Arcade 1-Up fan. I then started finding videos on YouTube on modding these cabinets. I found videos by ETA Prime, Retro Ralph, Console Kits, and Cool Toy. And I was like, wow, the things these guys are doing with these cabinets are amazing. And I did my very first Raspberry Pi mod following the ETA Prime video. Mm-hmm. And then I discovered the Facebook groups. So then I started, posting and commenting and liking and following and becoming engaged on those Facebook pages, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then about 4.5 months ago, I said, you know what? I think I could do this. I think I've learned some stuff, and I think I can be funny and entertaining. And I started a YouTube channel, P-Dub's Arcade Loft. Mm-hmm. And then in the last 4.5 months, I've gone just batshit fucking crazy with the amount of stuff that I've purchased and the amount of time I've spent. So as a wife who's all been married into an Arcadeaholic addiction for the last 4.5 months, what are your thoughts about me, A, collecting so many machines, because we have like around 15. What are your thoughts about me doing a YouTube channel, now a podcast, and then there's also a couple other things we're working on, which are a surprise that we're unveiling in 2020. So we don't want to mention that here, baby. I know you're drinking, but let's keep that stuff hush hush. What are your thoughts on all that about what your husband's been doing?
I think you're nuts. I think that I mean, I don't know. You took an idea for a hobby and you turned it into like 3 full-time day jobs, and I don't know how you managed to squeeze it all in.
Yeah. I do have a wonderful career as an insurance underwriter. I've been doing insurance for 15, 16 years.
Pretty much.
Have a great career, make great money. We have a beautiful home. We don't live check to check. We live a very comfortable lifestyle, so we're able to afford these toys. However, the addiction has, I will admit, taken time away from you, from our son, from my responsibilities around the house. How does that make you feel?
Well, when you say it like that, I feel like you need to start going to some meetings. No, in all seriousness.
And they would still be called AA. They'd be Arcade Anonymous instead of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Correct.
Okay. So long story short, P-Dubs needs help.
Possibly. No, I mean, you're having fun and I love to see that, but
Okay. Now, before we get into talking about the 3 big companies that are out there and your thoughts on them, let's just, here, take another drink of your alcohol. You're going to need it. All right. How much money do you think your husband... She's spit out her booze. She spit her booze out.
Only a little bit.
How much money do you think your husband has spent on arcades in just the last 6 months? I know the exact number.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. I can't even imagine.
Yes.
Off the top of my head, 4,000.
Too low.
No.
Too low.
Ew.
Yep.
5,500.
Too low.
I don't want to know.
Well, you're going to find out. Take another drink. So how does it make you feel that in the last 6 months, your husband has spent $6,382 on arcades, arcade machines, modding materials, YouTube stuff such as costumes and props and cameras and capture cards and wires and lighting equipment, video camera equipment? How does it make you feel to know that in the last 6 months I've spent over $6,000 on this hobby?
I feel like I need to take your credit cards away.
You probably should, but she won't.
Hi.
Okay, so I definitely wanted to get the ladies' perspective on. Now, you are a gamer, you're an arcade gamer, you're an arcade gaming fan. There's women out there who love doing this stuff, but not all of them. It seems to be mostly, 18 to 50-year-old males, something like that, and then also all the kids. But I'm talking about the retro arcade gaming. For instance, our son is 18. He never, ever plays in the arcade loft. He'd rather be in his room, laying in his bed, playing his PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So you have to, do you agree with me that these arcade machines, although they're marketed towards children, their commercials and their advertisements geared towards children, really it's the 25 to 50-year-old male that is purchasing these and trying to relive their youth?
I mean, mostly, probably.
Yeah, I just said that.
I know
that. I've been drinking.
You agree with you?
I agree with me. I think P-Dubs, you hit the nail on the head. And sorry, I love talking in the third person.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, so let's move on just a little bit. Okay, so we have 3 companies now, and next year there's going to be even more announced at CES. Arcade 1UP has opened Pandora's box, and now we have all these new players entering the market.
Okay.
So, but I know you don't know anything about those new players,
Nope.
So let's just talk about the 3 ones you do know, because we have them all here in the house.
Right.
So for starters, let's talk about Act Games.
That's the great big one, right?
The Act Games Legends Ultimate.
That's the one where I can play gargoyles.
Yes, gargoyles. So what are your thoughts about the Act Games Legends Ultimate arcade machine?
Like,
Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it was worth the $500?
No, I like it. It was good. I love.
Sorry, a splash of whiskey went in my eye. All right. You were saying?
I don't even know. No, I like it. It's complicated and that it's a little overwhelming as a machine to use. I mean, you keep calling me a gamer and I love to play. So I don't disagree with that part, but I feel like it's false advertising because I'm really not good at it. So I get a little overwhelmed.
You don't have to be good at games to be a gamer. All you have to do is play games.
Shit.
Okay, now that we're done choking on booze.
Sorry.
Okay, so in your opinion, although you like playing games, you're not a hardcore gamer that you know the ins and outs of how machines works.
Right.
You think the Act Games Legends Ultimate is it's just overwhelming.
It is. It's a little overwhelming. I don't always know how to find what
That's
I'm
fair.
looking for. So then I get worried about screwing something up when I start touching buttons.
That's fair. That's fair. Now, out of all the machines that we own, I think that one might actually be my favorite right now today. And that's because I like the fact that it does everything. Like, I mean, it is almost the end-all be-all of multicades. Once we add light guns and steering wheels.
No steering wheels.
That machine is going to be completely off the hook. But I like the fact that it has arcade net. It has where you can play your friends. It has the ability. It has 350 games built in. You have the ability to add hundreds of your own games via USB stick, and you can add thousands of your own games via the Raspberry Pi support once it gets completely out of beta here in a couple minutes. So, not a couple minutes, couple days. Sorry, I've been drinking. It's the whiskey, guys. So the point is I like the fact that I have one machine that damn near does it all, right?
Okay.
But in your opinion, it's too overwhelming?
It is.
Okay,
I mean,
totally
I
fair.
like the simplicity in
Right.
the arcade 1-ups. I mean, I go on there, I have 4 choices, I pick the one I want, and I play the
Right.
game. I don't get. It's like when you let me be in charge of the remote control, and I spend
Right.
like 30 minutes browsing instead of choosing a TV show to watch. It's just a bit much.
Right. So I think that's an excellent point. If you have so much on your Netflix list, by the time you're done figuring out what to watch, you have no time to watch anything. And with the At Games Legends Ultimate, I could see people will have, well, I got the games built in, I got my USB stick plugged in, and I got my Raspberry Pi built in. I now have 20,000 games I can play. And by the time they figure out what game to play, they've run out of time to play. And it's, we all live busy lives these days. So yeah, I totally get that. Okay, cool. I can respect that. Okay. So let's talk about let's move on to the next one, Toy Shock and their digital pinball machine. And let me know you're honest. What do you think about the Toy Shock digital pinball machine?
It's okay. I like real pinball. And I see everybody talking about, other, they call it VPin machines and whatever. It's none of it's real pinball. So I guess, it's fine. It doesn't play the same as real pinball, and I'm prejudiced. So there's that.
So the online world, people right now would label you, they would brand you a pinball purist.
Well, yeah, I can see that. Louder, he says. Louder. Okay. No, but seriously.
I say that a lot, guys.
Shut up.
But yeah, so you're a pinball purist. You like real mechanical pinball.
I like real mechanical pinball.
So you would rather own a $5,000 machine that weighs 400 pounds that plays one game.
That will probably break down far more often than I would like.
That I will end up spending hundreds of dollars a year maintaining and all that kind of stuff.
No, I just want to go to the bar more often so we can play.
Ooh, I like that.
See?
I like that. Okay. Now me, as we all know, I like the Toy Shock digital pinball machine. I enjoy playing it.
It's not a bad game, but it is a video game. It is not pinball. And that's just the truth of it.
Right. It's video game pinball. So, okay, I can totally respect that, honey. Now, but out of the 12 games that are included, which one do you like the most?
I don't know what it's called. Fake Addams Family.
Oh, Class of 1812.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're a fan of Addams Family Pinball, you will like the Class of 1812 on the Toy Shock digital pinball machine. In fact, that is the sleeper hit on this cabinet, on their Facebook fan page. When people constantly say, my favorite game to play, Class of 1812 is by far the runaway hit on that machine instead of Haunted House.
You're about to get so mad at me, but do you realize you keep going into like infomercial mode?
Well, I am a host.
I know, but all of a sudden it's like you're doing your own commercials. It's like, the TV radio or the radio people where they all of a sudden jump into an infomercial. That's what you keep doing.
All right. Well, speaking of infomercials, how about this little sound effect?
It's me, Mario.
Ah, crap, honey. We ran out of Kirby sound effects.
That's because I'm the only person in the world who loves him like that.
Right. So, what were we talking about? Toy Shock?
Toy Shock.
Toy Shock. Yes. So I personally really like it. I think it's a fun digital pinball machine. It's obviously not perfect. You're not going to get a 4,000 machine for $400, but don't even get me into that whole tantrum. And then of course I love the At Games Legends Ultimate, and everything that it can do, has been doing, and will be doing in the future with all the firmware upgrades and stuff like that. So you like the At Games, but it overwhelms you.
Yes.
You don't like, let's rip the Band-Aid off. You don't like the Toy Shock digital pinball machine.
Not particularly.
Okay. Well, if you get a letter in the mail from, Oppenheimer, Goldberg, and Grace, those aren't divorce paperwork, baby.
No.
I'm kidding.
Well, when
you don't
it happens,
have to like it.
you can have the pinball.
You don't have to like it. And the reason why I saved Arcade 1-Up for last is they obviously are the biggest. They have the most machines. So there's probably going to be a little bit more to talk about. So what are your thoughts about Arcade 1-Up? You like it because
I like it because it's easy to use. It is
Right.
It is user friendly when the user's kind of an idiot.
You're not an idiot. You've just been drinking. Margarita Melissa. Okay, so you like the fact that it's a machine, it's only got 3 or 4 games. Whereas everyone else says, I'm going to put 50,000 games on here.
Well, because if I'm going to go put my fingers
Right.
on a freaking Pac-Man video game, I want it to play Pac-Man. That's the whole point. I don't want to get lost choosing, one of 18 million games.
Right. Okay. So, out of the arcade 1-up machines that we own, which one is your favorite? Or at least give me your top 5.
That's too many. I'll give you a top 3. I like the 12-in-1.
Okay.
Because I like to play Crystal Castles. And Tempest, is that the other game?
Mm-hmm.
I like the Star Wars game. And I like Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
Dude, I kick ass as Scorpion.
Get over here! Isn't it funny? We've been married a long time. We both said that at the same time. So yeah, let's talk about the 12-in-1. Now, I brought the 12-in-1 home, and I was initially disappointed in it because A, they're old Atari games. You really have to be a fan of those games to like those games. But B, the spinner and the trackball were just the trackball wasn't as bad, but the spinner was god awful. So then I replaced them with Glenn's Retro Show spinner and trackball, and now I love that machine. I don't think I'm ever going to mod it except for like a light up marquee and kick plate graphics. I love that machine.
The spinner is fabulous, but the trackball is too good because now when I'm playing Crystal Castle, my teddy bear runs into walls and into bad guys and stuff.
You hear that, Glenn? You're going to need to adjust the sensitivity
for us idiots.
For the idiots like Margarita Melissa, and don't worry, I'll work on her drinking. It's probably user error.
Shut up. That's not the point.
But that's okay. All right. So, but yeah, Glenn's Retro Show trackball and spinner. Now I love that machine. I'll never get rid of that machine. I'm going to keep it until it dies. Once it dies, I'll make it into something else. But okay. So yeah. And when it comes to the Star Wars machine, that, it's got Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. We already mentioned earlier, Return of the Jedi is your favorite.
It is. The other two, I don't do so well in, the whole aiming and shooting and blowing shit up. I'm not good at it.
Right.
I'm also not good at driving the, what is that thing? Land speeder thing? What is it? The bike thing? Help me out here. Don't just stare at me blankly.
Are you talking about in Return of the Jedi?
Yes. Give me the right name.
The speeder bike?
The speeder bike? Yes. I was close-ish. Sort of.
But you beat the game all the time. How are you not good at driving it?
Well, because the trees jump out at me. It's like real life. No.
I think the trees are static. I think you run into the trees.
Shut up, babe.
Yeah. Okay. So you just really like that Return of the Jedi game.
I really do really like that Return of the Jedi game.
You know what's funny is when I see all the posts and comments about that machine, people aren't like, oh my God, Return of the Jedi is amazing. I'm so glad I bought this cabinet. People are usually like, dude, I just blew up the Death Star and my childhood is back and I love it and it's amazing. And the occasional person's like, hey, I played Empire Strikes Back and it was cool. I haven't seen anyone say like, Return of the Jedi was fucking awesome.
They probably run into trees too much.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so you like Return of the Jedi. Totally appreciate that. Now, let's talk about Mortal Kombat. You remember those Mortal Kombat movies?
Yes.
The second one was god awful. The first one's actually watchable. Who was your favorite character in that one? In the movie.
In the movie. Don't do this to me. I don't know. The dude with the funny hat and the electricity eyes.
Emperor Palpatine?
Shut up, you're such a jerk.
Do you know it was Emperor Palpatine? No, it was Raiden.
Raiden.
Name.
I'm not good at naming things.
Yes, Emperor Palpatine, and then he was your favorite character.
Emperor Palpatine.
Wait, I've been drinking. Raiden was your favorite character in the movie, but in the video game itself, you enjoy playing as Scorpion.
I love playing as Scorpion.
Why?
Because of the harpoon thingy.
The spear?
The spear.
The harpoon spear?
I love it.
Get over here!
It's the best move ever. It's also the only specialty move I can do for anybody.
You know, when you look at Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, the three most iconic moves are Liu Kang's Fireball, Sub-Zero's Ice Ball,
Yes.
and then Scorpion's Spear.
Yes.
Like, I think when people think Mortal Kombat, they think of those. Just like when you think Street Fighter, you think Hadouken! For, like, the fireball that Ryu and Ken shoot.
I don't play Street Fighter.
Yeah, you never did like Street
Nope.
Fighter.
Mm-mm.
That's okay. I mean, I'm not a huge Street Fighter. I've always been, it's kind of like Sega Nintendo. Do you like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat? I've always been Mortal Kombat. I haven't really been a big Street Fighter fan. And you're kind of the same way.
I am. Mortal Kombat's been my fave since I was little.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You know,
Now,
because little kids should be playing Mortal Kombat.
now, on that cabinet, you have Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. Which one is your favorite to play?
I don't know. I turn it on and start pushing buttons.
Mortal Kombat 1.
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You always play Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, once you get into like the combos and the faster paced gameplay.
Oh, that's when I get my ass kicked and I cry?
Right. But
Right.
Mortal Kombat 1, you're awesome.
I like it.
You
I told
know?
you they've got to be easier. That's why I played the older games.
That's great. That's great. Okay. So thinking ahead, because we're almost out of time, we definitely want to keep this around 30 minutes or less. We only have a couple minutes left. If I keep doing what I'm doing, are we going to get divorced?
Maybe. Oh, wait. Was I supposed to hesitate?
No. And okay. So, all right. But now in 2020, are there any games you would like these companies to come out with that you would say, okay, Patrick, I'm not going to divorce you and I'll let you spend another $500 and buy this?
You know, it falls back under the earlier part of the conversation. It's not a particular game. It's a type of game.
Uh-huh.
I want a shooter game.
You want a shooter
I
game.
want to be able to blow shit up in my living room.
Okay. Alcohol and guns and you and margaritas.
It's a happy place.
It's a happy place or a dangerous place for me. Well, that's awesome, baby. Okay, so you hear that arcade one up. If you catch wind of this podcast, Margarita Melissa is demanding, politely requesting, but demanding a shooter game.
Yes.
Make it work. If you can figure out pinball, if you can figure out a steering wheel yoke, you can figure out a light gun, right?
Yes. I mean, I don't
Thank
care.
you.
It can be,
Thank you.
you know, it can be Duck Hunt. It can be zombies. It can be dinosaurs. It can be any frick. What's the one? Mario and Luigi has a freaking Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
That the big ass arcade game has a shooting thing. I want to be able to blow shit up.
Okay. Okay, baby, we've hit that mark. Now, before you guys tune off, you definitely want to hang on until the very last second. So, thanks for tuning in. Definitely follow the show on Anchor, on Breaker, on Radio Public, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts. I got a lot of great arcade guest stars lined up. You definitely don't want to miss the conversations we're going to have with these folks, as well as we're going to deliver the arcade news that you want to see, or not see, hear, right?
Here.
Yeah, we're going to deliver the arcade news you want to hear right here on the Loft Report. And also make sure, so look for the Loft Report on all those applications and follow us. We'd greatly appreciate it. And also do me a favor, check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/pdubsarcadeloft. Hit that subscribe button. Also go to Facebook, facebook.com/pdubsarcadeloft, and like and follow that Facebook page. You definitely want to stay up to date with everything we got coming out in 2020. Now, final thing, baby, before we run out of time.
Okay.
So you're married. We're married. I almost said you're married.
I was going to say.
We're married. You know all my deep dark secrets, all my skeletons in my closet and everything. So before we sign off, I'm going to give you an opportunity now to embarrass me.
Oh, I love this.
So before we sign off, I want you, I will give you this chance to tell my listeners and the fans and all the people out there something about P-Dub that no one else knows, that only you know. I'm going to give you that chance right now.
Oh, I know.
Oh, shit! Babe, we're out of time.
But